So now the future of hip hop and where we at now, we are taking the roles of commentators. So when you see this new podcasting, these are people who lived, been in hip hop for so many years, so they speaking from an experience.
DIY.
So I saw a post here on the Wall Street Journal magazine that featured Fat Joe, obviously an East Coast legend. He has made a very impressive career for himself, not just as a rapper, but also as an entrepreneur. So it's no surprise to me when you hear that Wall Street Journal magazine wants to talk to him and ask him about how he views where hip hop is at and the future of it.
Hip hop in itself is only 50 years old.
Yep.
So it's the youngest genre. So before us, nobody did these type of things. So when you watch these entrepreneurial moves from like a Jay-Z, a Dr. Dre, 50 Cent is the new Aaron Spelling. He really is.
Right, with
it's the new
show,
Aaron
yeah.
Spelling. And so now we've grown, like when we watch, speaking of basketball, we see Charles Barkley, we see Kenny Smith, we see Shaq and Ernie. These are guys who played the game. So now the future of hip hop and where we at now, we are taking the roles of commentators. So when you see this new podcasting, these are people who lived and been in hip hop for so many years, so they speaking from situations and experience. And so hip hop is just growing itself. So before us, we didn't know that all these things were possible.
Yeah.
So pretty much my generation, my era, had to figure that out.
And thankfully they figured it out. Or they're currently figuring it out. There are generations of hip hop that had to go through certain time periods of innovation to make it possible for things to be easier for us to have access to, for hip hop to be even seen as a profitable business to some companies. When I was really doing shows earlier in my years, I'd never forget a conversation that my guy Noah had with a company. I'm not going to say the company's name, but it's a very well-known energy drink company. He was asking them about what opportunities were available for them to be sponsors on a show. They were really lax about it. Like they were like, yeah, we probably just... we'll give this X amount of money. I remember him saying it sounded like a lot of money to me in the moment, but it made me want to ask some of my rock partners, folks who were into rock music, how much money they were getting. And it was such a large gap between it. And the explanation that he got from this person that was at the company is that they looked at hip hop as an easy way to flip a dollar. You guys don't need as many mics as a band needs. You guys don't even need a full venue. We can put a couple of speakers out there, a microphone, and you guys are going to go ahead and have at it. And because it is such low overhead, they knew they could easily flip their money. So they were looking at hip hop almost like a really quick hustle. And when you got companies that look at you like that, they don't respect you. They just see what you can do for them. Hip hop had to go through a lot of different transitions in order for this to even be possible. To where now we're thinking about, as he said, 50 Cent being such a massive influence within the TV space, within the TV drama space with all of his different series. And even in this, the guy interviewing him, they laughed when Fat Joe said that 50 Cent is the new Aaron Spelling. Do you know who Aaron Spelling is? Aaron Spelling has made TV shows like Charmed, 90210. He's been here for a long time. Starsky and Hutch, Fantasy Island, Dynasty. But as you see in the video, the guy laughs when he made the comparison because I still think that there's that inner bias that exists when people think of hip hop. I mean, just think of how people react when you tell them you're a rapper or you tell them you're a music producer and they say, oh, what do you make? Like pop music? No. Oh, like what? Hip hop? Oh, you do a little bit of... The way they are very like condescending when they talk about hip hop. I think that hip hop is still going through its changes, and even after 50 years, still asking for its respect. Put some respect on my name.
So when you watch these entrepreneurial moves from like a Jay-Z, a Dr. Dre, 50 Cent is...
He talked about Dr. Dre also with being a part of one of the most successful headphone launches with Beats. These are all supremely boss moves that move the entire culture forward.
The new Aaron Spelling.
I don't know what was funny about that. I don't know what was funny about that. Is it because his name is 50 Cent? He is out here dominating series after series from Power, Ghost. Now he's getting ready to build out his G-Unit Studios. They wouldn't laugh if they said Tyler Perry is the next Aaron Spelling. They'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I can kind of see that. I think some people just have an inner bias or an inner chuckle when they think about entrepreneurship being linked to the guys with these big ass chains who made songs that made their little college version shake their ass. You know what I'm saying? I think that they feel like, you don't really take that. You're not you're not an entrepreneur. You're like a hip hop entrepreneur. And it's a shame.
Now we've grown, like when we watch Speaking of Basketball, we see Charles Barkley, we see Kenny Smith, we see Shaq and Ernie. These are guys who played the game. So now the future of hip hop and where we at now, we are taking the roles of commentators. So when you see this new podcasting, these are people who lived and been in hip hop for so many years, so they speaking from situations and experience.
That was needed. Draymond Green says something recently where we are the new media. The people who have actually played the sports, the people who have actually made the music are becoming the new media. I am a part of that new media. I am now in that space from my home. And who would you rather listen to? Someone who gives you a guess of what they think is going on, or somebody who's actually actively, currently doing the thing that they're talking about? People are demanding more of the people that they're giving their time to. That's why they say attention is the new currency. If I'm going to give you my time, you're on the clock. I need to know what value you are bringing me. And if you have never done the thing, think about that. People have been literally getting away with careers, chastising, attacking professional athletes, and they ass would not be able to run up and down a full court in basketball. They ass would not even be able to run to the 50-yard line in NFL. But they make entire careers bashing, and they get an opportunity to have a forum for it. Well, now the times have changed, and I'm glad that it is. The new podcasters who are speaking on hip hop, it's not just a guy with an opinion. It's somebody who's actually been in these meetings. It's someone who's actually rocked at a show. It's someone who's actually spent time in the studio. It's someone who currently is spending time in the studio. I don't know about you, but I'd rather hear from that person about what they think about the state of music. Not just a guy with an ear. I don't give a shit what you got to say. And I love it because I'm finding that my favorite podcasts end up being the rappers that I listen to as artists. And now I get to hear their perspective on things they never would have talked about out of fear of compromising relationships they had within the industry. We're in a new day. And the people who actually did it, the DIYers, are the ones that you're hearing from. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Don't be greedy. Peace.